Hi, everybody. I'm Matt Dana, managing partner of Dana Whiting Law, and we're very lucky today to have my favorite partner with me today, Mr. Todd Smith.
Wow, what an introduction.
Yeah, there you go.
Happy to be here.
Most people are used to seeing me and Trevor, right?
Right.
But it's good to have you here with us today, and we've got a pretty interesting topic to talk about. And in estate planning, Todd, as you know, there's a big difference planning for, let's say, a husband and wife where their net worth is, say, $3 to $5 million, which is kind of our average clients that live out here in North Scottsdale, versus a client that's worth $30 to $50 million. And we talk a lot about on our videos about these clients that are higher net worth, but today I want to talk about what core estate planning means. And we don't want to ignore those people 3 to 5 million, because that's where 99% of America is, right? That's our solid market. But what would you call or classify as core estate planning?
Well, I think you hit it right on the head. I think, if you're talking about a married couple, we're talking about the estate tax exemption next year is going to be $15 million.
Yeah.
So if we're not worried about the estate tax, so $10 million and less, I like to think of core estate planning as these clients where there's going to be a lot of issues that apply to all of them. And so it's better for us to be able to focus on those issues and not lose focus by talking about issues that don't matter when you talk about the estate tax or something like that.
What would you consider to be the 5 most important documents in a core estate plan?
Well, obviously, we always talk about the revocable trust whenever we're talking about trying to avoid probate and protect what you want to have happen when you die. There's always a last will and testament. Even if you do a trust, we still do a pour over will. And then there's power of attorney documents where we're no longer talking about planning for death. We're talking about something equally depressing to think about, is planning for incapacity.
Yeah.
Something happens to you where you're still alive, but you're unable to make your own decisions. We have documents like a financial power of attorney. What I call a financial power of attorney is something where you're naming somebody to be your agent to make financial decisions if you can't make them for yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas a similar document, but for different purpose, is the healthcare power of attorney. You're not able to make decisions for yourself with regard to medical decisions. This document allows you to appoint an agent to do that. And part of that document also, we talk about a living will, which is different from the last will and testament I mentioned before. But a living will is what we call those end of life decisions, where we're saying you might be in a permanent vegetative state. Do you want to be plugged in forever, or do you want to have certain services withdrawn at that point?
And I know every one of those documents are critical, but what would you rate the most important of those core documents? Where do we spend most of our time planning?
As far as the time we spend planning, it always ends up being the revocable trust,
Right?
Because that's where we're talking about if you're gone and we're leaving assets to children that may be minor children or maybe have special needs or whatever we're talking about, there's going to be some intense discussion on how we want that to look.
Yeah.
How we're going to treat those kids.
Yeah, and even these clients that have higher net worths, they still will always have this core estate plan. This part never goes away. As we kind of climb the ladder with higher net worth clients, we're just adding more layers of more trusts and more partnerships and more other entities. But this core is very important, isn't it?
Right.
Well, thanks for your time today, Todd.